Right, next job, trying to diagnose this Land Rover. I'm going to check to see what, I'm going to take the inlet manifolds off, and it'll give us an idea if there's oil getting passed through it. Well, it could give us an idea if there's oil going through it, which cylinder it's going through, because you might be able to tell on the exhaust manifold if it was clean. If there's an oily residue there, and which port it's coming out of. So I'm going to take them off and have a look. As you see, to take it off, it's fairly simple. First job is, if you can see with this camera in the light, is the downpipe. There's 3 30mm nuts to take off on that, and just let that dangle down there. And then there's 9 on this one. It's the brass. It's got the brass nuts. There's 9 of them brass nuts to take off, and these little clamps that hold it all together. It's a fairly straightforward job. They are 14mm. And luckily on this they're all new, so they all come off quite easily. You might need a long reach socket for some of them, but I'll get them off. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top and 5 along the bottom. It's a fairly straightforward job. I'll start in with these ones first. I'll get them done. So apologies for the light, it's really crap. I've taken these 2 out already. I'll take that last one off. Let that drop down and just let it sit there. It's not going anywhere. So then it's on to these ones. These are pretty self-explanatory. It doesn't matter if the stud comes out of the head or the nut comes off, whichever way around. But I'll get these off. Surely you don't need to see me do that. And bring you back when it's time to pull it off. Right, I've got 2 more bolts left to do. One is right underneath manifolds, both manifolds. This is the last one holding the intake manifold in. So can just get my hand down. See if I can get the washer off, or I'm going to have to let it in. Right, leave that washer. Let it land on the floor. Right, that's that. And that's pretty clean. There's a bit of oil in that one, because what I did originally, I hooked the oil breather up to there. I've never seen one of these 2 1/4 diesels with that on. But it was causing such vacuum that it was sucking the oil out the top and straight down there. So that has got some oil in there, but not a lot. So I did give it a wipe out before. So I've got this one nut left on there. We're going to get you down there. Sorry about the dodgy angles and the light's really terrible. You see that's starting to fall away now. Go on, off you go. When I'm checking these as we go, because if you're going to take the engine out, you've got to take all this off anyway, really. Well, you haven't got to, but it's just easier if you do. So it makes sense to me. There's another washer on the floor. Oh, look at that. There you go. Prop that up with my foot. Soot. That's normal. It's totally normal. That one's dry. Let me go and get a torch. Let me, if I can find a torch in here now. Use this one. If anybody's interested, absolutely brilliant. It's 700 newton meters, Kilda. Brought it from SGS Engineering. It was £235 for 2 batteries, a torch, the impact wrench charger and the sockets. Now admittedly, within a couple of days my torch broke, so I asked them if they could what they could do about it, and they sent me a replacement one straight out and said I can keep the old one, which I took it apart and soldered it back together again, so 2 of the LEDs do work, but so yeah, if any tools, I'd give them a shout. To be fair, I've got a lot more tools to buy and I will be buying them from them. But right, where was we? Oops. Oil on the 3rd cylinder. That would explain a lot. And some on cylinder 1. A little bit on cylinder 2. Cylinder 4's good. It's sooty, but then it's when your engines are ticking over, they can build up soot quite easily, quite fast. But yeah, that is absolutely wet through. Pure oil. Right, so how's that getting in there? I would hazard a guess the head's going to have to come off. And can't get in there very well, but yeah. The first 3 cylinders are very oily on the exhaust ports. So if I'm wondering now, are the valve stem seals gone? Are the valve stems, the valve guides worn? Starting to get somewhere. Doing this, taking this off, it can tell you how happy each cylinder is. I mean, that is thick with oil. Not as bad as that one, but there shouldn't be oil in there. It should be soot. It should be like that, not that, not even that. Yeah. Right. So I think now, I mean, I forgot to mention as well, the everything is adjusted up. The valves are adjusted up exactly where they should be. So now I'm thinking valve guide, valve stem seal. We know it's got good compression. So yeah, really, I probably could have got away with doing a leak down test which would tell the condition of the rings, that the valves are seated, but the valves aren't seated properly. If they're getting a bit of blow by the valves, that wouldn't cause that, I wouldn't think. So, right, next job then, rocker cover off, and I think start dismantling the head, get a gasket set on order. I'm debating whether to pull the engine anyway. The thrust bearing's it squeals, weirdly. I've never had one squeal. I've had them rattle, I've had them clunky, noisy, but never had one squeal, so I'm going to pull that off. It is brand new, and I believe, if my memory serves me right, it was a Brit Part 1, so it's no big surprise really. So I'll get that off. I'll get a Bearmat one ordered slightly. The state of that. It's no wonder it was smoking. Not running right. Yeah, get some parts ordered, complete gasket set, and take it from there.